righty, good evening, and welcome to a special edition of ONV, our Neutral Voices podcast. Today, I get the pleasure of talking to Miss Indiana, second runner-up Miss America, Fort Wayne's own Cydney Bridges.
Hey.
Cydney, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be back in these seats. I was back here in July, or June, actually, right after I won Miss Indiana.
Okay.
So,
Well, good. I was gonna say, yeah, you were on here with Ryan, one of our co-hosts, his daughter, and I know she said you were a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
But before we even get off into all of that, second runner-up Miss America.
Yes.
Tell us how your life has changed. Tell us.
Well, what's crazy is that night, January 14th, 2024, we all finished, and there's 51 of us, including DC, which makes the 51, and we're standing there waiting to hear our voices, waiting to hear our states called. And I'm just thinking, I'm going to watch all these states called. I'm going to watch the top 11 from backstage, eat some good pizza, and relax. And then they call Indiana third. And that was the most out-of-body experience. I don't remember how I got from the stairs to the front of the stage. That whole walk up to wave is I wouldn't blink. But that was the coolest and most fun experience ever. And the fact that I got to do that for my state and for my city and for my friends and family meant the world.
All right, awesome. A great explanation. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to ask you, I'm going to check with you.
Mm-hmm.
How many Miss Americas do we have from the state of Indiana?
We have one. Katie Stam, Miss America 2009. And so I was the highest placement for Indiana since Katie Stam won in 2009.
Hey, look, I knew you were on top of that, but I did my research and I noticed, and I said, man, one Miss America in Indiana, that is a heck of an honor. Like you said, you're second runner-up. And I actually got a chance, your mom been hitting me with all kind of pictures. You actually took a picture with Katie, too.
Yeah, me and Katie are, we've become great friends. I met her when I was 12 years old at the Miss Doolin preteen pageant in March of 2012 was when I met Katie, and she was so lovely. I actually didn't know she had been Miss America at the time. I just thought she was some lady emceeing the pageant. That's when I met her, and then I met her several times through other experiences, and then she was actually at Miss America during the week, and I saw her after I made top 5. She was backstage getting announced as one of the Forever Miss Americas, so she tapped my shoulder, and she took a video, and I have this video, and I said, I can't believe I just made top 5 at Miss America, and so that was a really cool experience for us to share as the two people that have brought Indiana their highest placements in a span of 13 years.
Oh, yes, awesome. Now, the other thing I found out in my research, Katie is from Seymour, Indiana. Mm-hmm. She was a dairy farmer who had aspirations of getting involved in Miss America. Mm-hmm. Where did your passion, where did your drive come from with obtaining that goal?
Well, I am no dairy farmer. When I was 12 years old, I realized I wanted to be a nurse thanks to my 7th grade careers teacher, Mrs. Nispel at Maple Creek Middle School. That's how I realized I wanted to become a nurse. And honestly, I never had this dream of being Miss America or even competing at Miss America, but not because it was something I didn't want. It was something that I truly thought was highly unattainable due to the representation that I saw was slim to none. So I thought, okay, I could never do this. And I was originally doing pageants because it was fun and I loved it. And then I developed a love for the women. I developed a love for the service that I got to do and the people that I got to impact. And scholarships were amazing. I come from a single mom, the youngest of 4 kids. So scholarships truly were life-changing for me. And then the more I did it, the more I realized I was growing. And the more I realized I could do this. I could really be Miss Indiana. And even then I was like, I'll be Miss Indiana, and then I'll make top 51 at Miss America, and it kind of just grew from there. I was truly myself throughout the whole experience. So,
all right, awesome. Now, you talked about representation,
mm-hmm.
which is key. That's something I wanted to ask
mm-hmm.
because you're right. There's not a lot of representation of African American young people that looks like yourself,
mm-hmm.
and we know society defines, what people are supposed to look like and how they should act.
Mm-hmm.
I know you went out to Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
Carroll, percent of minorities that are out there, probably 1 to 3%.
Yes.
There we go, 1 to 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me, where does that confidence come from that you said, hey, I could do this, I could step in there, and where does that come from?
Well, it wasn't always there, and I talked about this earlier with someone else, that my confidence truly didn't peak and develop until I was in college. So all throughout my elementary, middle school, and high school years, I really struggled with my identity and who I was and loving myself and the skin that I'm in. But, through my faith and through the people that I met and the bonds I created, I started to really love the Cydney that I am without any crown, without any accolade, without any title. And I really think that contributes to the confidence that I have competing on the Miss America stage and competing in the Miss Indiana competition, because I learned that I was whole without any of it. And everything that I won and accomplished was just simply an addition to me. And so I say the women that do best in pageantry are the people that are just there to have fun and know that they're already whole and complete without any of the extra stuff, which I love. Obviously, I have a crown and a sash, and it's an amazing thing, but it's not who I am. It's a very, very small piece of who I am. And learning that really helped me develop my confidence.
All right, awesome. But and that's funny though that you said you got that confidence in college, because in my next question, you went to Huntington College, which almost is the same boat as you were in high school.
Yes. So my freshman year was when I started competing in pageants again. My freshman year, I joined the Miss America opportunity once again. I mentioned I did it when I was a little girl, like 11 and 12. I took a break until the age of 19. Okay. And when I came back at the age of 19, the organization really helped me come into my own through my community service initiative, through my team, KK Coconine, who is still one of my best friends to this day, through the people that I met, the connections I made. I say, everyone can tell you all day how amazing you are, but until you believe it yourself, it truly doesn't come out. And so my freshman year was truly the start of this self-discovery journey where I learned who I am and when I learned what I want to bring to the world and how I can bring those things to the world.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes.
You are just such a joy to, hear, speak, and your whole vision and perception of things. I love listening to you and watching you. And when you were on Miss America, everybody, not just in Fort Wayne, but, Fort Wayne, we got people all over. I know your mom's phone was getting blown up, but people watching, Sia should have won, and, all that. I mean, so many people are in your corner. We talked about a little bit about lack of representation, so obviously we're talking race. The one thing that I noticed, like you said, you don't shy away from it. And I know your mom wants to make a conscious effort. She always talking about Sia with the braids and, that type of thing. But speak to not being just an example for young women that look like you. When I went to your send-off party, and I think of Ryan's daughter, you, last time I saw a crossover like that, I went to a Michael Jackson concert and MC Hammer where they had all races and ages and everybody just moved by that person. So speak to that. Can you do you see the difference, or how do you balance that? Should I say?
Growing up in the community that I grew up in, and also being a part of the Voice of Unity Youth Choir, Dance Shiki Style Academy of Dance, I always was used to diverse audiences of people. I never felt uncomfortable around anyone because I was really pushed and kind of forced to adapt to a culture where no one really identified with me. So I learned that at a young age, and then I learned to find comfort in those that could identify with me, and then I kind of just merged. I was always merging my worlds, my pageant world, my school world, my athletic world, and so those kinds of people that I love come together in one space to support me, and it does look like a diversity of people because I truly have made an effort to place myself around people who are different than me, not live in an echo chamber, and making sure that, people understand that a part of being a Miss Indiana or a part of being in any type of leadership role, you have to learn how to adapt and connect with all types of people, and I've really learned that, and I really value my connections with my different circles of people, and I have learned something from all of them.
Okay, awesome. Now, where does your passion from kids come from? You always talk about mentees, and we know you're a nurse and you're specializing with kids. Where does that come from?
Well, growing up with my single mom, I did lack a lot of confidence, struggled in school, struggled outside of school, behavior-wise. I was all over the place as a child. But it was truly those mentors like Marsha White, Sheena Johnson, Cookie Rutledge, the people that invested in me and saw something in me when I didn't see anything in myself. it's because of them and that village that I'm here today. So I made it my mission to give back what was given to me, which is why I love kids. I love investing in kids. I love working with youth and showing them that, like, you can have a bad day, but don't make that bad day your excuse to have more, because that's what I did. And so truly showing kids who they can be and the potential that they have, and letting them know my story, and that I wasn't always perfect. I'm still not perfect, no matter how they see me. That's where the passion lies. And so, yes, I'm a mentee. I work with kids in my day life as a nurse, and I work with kids. I worked at a camp, the YMCA camp, for 3 years when I was here in Fort Wayne, and I just love youth. I love giving back to them.
All righty. Well, good, because we can never have too many role models.
Yes, love kids.
And you're definitely an excellent champion. Your platform right now, you were second runner-up, Miss America. Like I said, just how that sounds. You know, I know growing up, you know, in our era, I mean, yeah, the president of the United States or being an astronaut was a big thing. If you ask kids in kindergarten what they wanted to be. If you asked, you know, the females, Miss America was up there. You literally that close to winning, but second runner-up, Miss America. What are you prepared to do with your platform? What do you have going on?
So my community service initiative, also known as a platform, is a power of mentoring. I kind of just hit on that. I travel to youth organizations across the state, and I share messages of hope, messages of empowerment. I've done vision boards with girls. I've talked about goal setting with young girls. I have truly shown girls their potential, and so that's my passion, my CSI, and that's my life mission in general, to uplift and empower youth. So that's never going to stop. But, you know, I think that the doors that Miss America's opened for me are really ones that expand anything that I ever thought was possible as far as my reach. My reach has truly expanded. There are people across the country that message me, send me videos, send me pictures, talking about how I inspired them, and talking about how I'm going to tell my little girl about you, or I'm going to tell my kid that you were Miss America. And my impact has far exceeded my city and my state. It has reached people across the country, and I can only guess where that's going to take me. I have no clue yet, but I am open to the doors that are now open because of, you know, my time at Miss America.
Okay, yeah, awesome. You better, utilize that, build that brand. Again, in my research, I saw anybody who was Miss America, first runner-up, second runner-up, has gotten off into acting, gotten off into singing. Is any of that in the horizon?
Right now, I am in like month 7 of being a pediatric nurse, so I have no clue if I'm going to be a nurse for the rest of my life. I have no clue if I'm going to go part-time and pick up speaking. I love to talk. I love public speaking. It's one of my favorite aspects of the competition, and one of the aspects that I think shows people how well-rounded we are. But yeah, I don't know. I have a call with a lady. She wants me to go on the wall. I don't know what that show is, but I think it's trivia, so I might have to say no to that one. I'm not very good at trivia.
But again, no, you can't just say no. Be quick to say no. You do your research. And again, it's about building that brand. You know, it's all about that exposure. And like you said, you never know what door that's going to open.
Yeah.
So again, it's bigger than Fort Wayne. This is, I'm telling you, it's a feat. Like, I'm going to give you another trivia, or I'm going to see if you know the answer. How many Miss Americas were young ladies of color?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I know the first one was in like 1974, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I think she's from Iowa, but don't quote me on that. I know Erica Dunlap. I met Miss Erica Dunlap. She was Miss Florida. She won Miss America in 2004. Nia Franklin was Miss America 2019, so that's 2. Vanessa Williams won, and that was a whole scandal. So that's 3, which she did get an apology 4 years later. Oh my goodness, I want to say 4.
4? Actually, it's 8.
It's 8?
It's 8 in a 100-year history. But yeah, it is 8. And you have to remember when Vanessa, she's awarded, they took her in second place. So her first runner-up was African American too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, correct.
Well, did you know Halle Berry competed?
She was first runner-up?
Yep,
that's
from
another
Ohio.
one catapulted. Exactly. Yeah, catapulted a career. That's who I was thinking of. Yes, that's exactly right. But I just know, yes, a tremendous honor and platform. So yeah, talk to people that don't understand. I know there's not a pay per se, but the scholarships and the, again, the doors opening up. Can you speak to that?
So the biggest misconception in pageantry that I feel is that we're surface level and that we have nothing to us, which I think is far from it. My friends in pageantry are lawyers, teachers, doctors, med school students, the most empowered women that I have ever met in my life. And so what Miss America does for women is it allows us to have scholarship opportunities. Some women pay for their education solely on Miss America scholarships. It allows us to grow our heart for service. The teens, we have a teen program. Some of these teens' resumes and college applications look amazing because of their participation in the Miss America organization. I mean, some of these teens on 501c3s, they raise, one teen, Miss Virginia, I want to say, donated like 7,000 books to Title III. I think that's what they're called, like the low-income schools in her community. Other teens raise money for cancer, and so this is a space where you get to grow as an individual and meet other people that are also trying to grow themselves as individuals, and then doors and connections come your way because of your participation in the Miss America opportunity. So I think it is far from surface level. I think it is one of the toughest things to do, find a way to balance beauty, quote unquote, because it's not about that with substance, because that's what you truly need to succeed in the world and in the Miss America opportunity.
You're exactly right. Mm-hmm. That's funny that you say that too, and I would say this. Mm-hmm. Obviously I'm biased when I'm watching the competition. And I told my fiance, I was like, hey, it's coming down to Cyd or the lady from Colorado. Mm-hmm. I said, and I totally based it off just what you talked about, the substance. I mean, I thought both of you guys were so well-spoken and were sincere in your answers. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm just saying something. There was passion, and she obviously had a heck of a story, by attending the Air Force.
I sat right next to her during our top 11 question, and I was like, as soon as she started talking about she got a question on drugs, people don't know, and she flipped it into life-saving cancer drugs. I said, oh my gosh, she's doing amazing.
Yeah. Hey, and again, what you said sitting right there, tell us, give us a behind-the-scenes look. Is everything as lovey-dovey as it looks on the outside? Give us a behind-the-scenes. Give us the scoop.
It absolutely actually is. I say if you drop the camera into our room outside of the stage, you would think we're at like summer camp. I mean, it is the funnest experience ever. I actually had a story. So Reagan Yamauchi, Miss Idaho, we got to do a free day at Universal during Miss America week. So they just let us go. We were at the parks for like 4 hours. And I don't like roller coasters. And I let everyone know. I said, I'm not getting on a roller coaster. And Reagan looks at me. She goes, you ready to ride the Hulk? Which is like the biggest roller coaster at Universal. And I got on it and screamed and cried the entire way. But like, it's just so funny. Like, we truly are each other's support system during that week. It is a long week. It is a tiring week. It is a taxing week emotionally and physically. So you have to lean on the girls around you. So it is as lovey-dovey as it seems. It's nothing like the movie Miss Congeniality. We actually love each other.
Okay, that is awesome. And I actually saw when you won Miss Indiana, and as they're waiting on the call, you and the first runner-up, y'all sitting there, everybody hugging, waiting on to call the name. And as an athlete, and my athletic friends, everybody, we like, man, where they do this? We competed against each other, but they called your name, and you guys hugged, and then you broke down. But
such a supportive environment.
That is great. And again, at your send-off party, I saw all the other young ladies, and you guys, like you said, it was like a big sorority.
I competed with all of them, yet they love us. Like, we love each other. So I always say I'm not competing against anyone. I'm competing with them. And it's the verbiage. Yes, we are standing on the stage at the end of the day hoping for the same goal, but we are competing with each other and we are competing for each other. And, of course, you're going to run into a girl or two that haven't quite realized the beauty of this experience and that it's not about winning. But for the majority of women that I've met, it's about the experience. It's about the people. And winning is just a cherry on top at the end of the day.
Gotcha. That's beautiful. Is it like, we do a sports podcast, too, and we often talk about parents getting involved. Is there a time, have you seen some parents that kind of acted a little, I don't know, shady, for lack of a better word, or kind of didn't get exactly what you're talking about, put that pressure on their daughter?
I've never met shady parents, but it's a lot better on the miss side. It's sometimes on the teen side, and I really think it's like, parents are a little bit further removed from us on the miss side. We are in college, or we're fully grown adults. parents become fans at that point that I'm at. But when you have a 15 or 16-year-old girl, that mom is like fully involved in everything. So sometimes you just see parents that are like very, very invested, and I will be like, if you just like take a step back, let your daughter do her thing, she'll do amazing. So I don't think it's shady. I just think it's like a parent with anything, whether it's a sport, whether it's any type of competition. Teen parents are heavily invested more so than a Miss parent is. So
Gotcha.
I just think that they're very invested and they want the best for their daughters, and sometimes they get a little intense, and I'm like, hey, we can take deep breaths here, it's gonna be okay. But it's all out of love.
There you go. I mean, yeah, you wear it so well. Like I got another. Here's another one of my Miss America questions for you. Rule 7. You ever heard of Rule 7?
No.
Rule 7 was a rule. It actually ended in 1940. But Rule 7 simply stated that a Miss America contestant had to be of good health and of the white race.
Really?
Truly. So you think about that, 1940. So the reason I bring that up, because I know when you look back at, at your grandmother, your mother, who come from a certain time when things weren't as fair and as diverse as they are now. And so the fact that, you can sit here, like we say, you can represent young ladies of color, you can represent little Caucasian girls who aspire to be like you, and here you are, second runner-up to Miss America. I mean, hearing something like that, I mean, how does that make you feel? Where we at?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Miss America started in 1921, and I'm sure, and times are incredibly different in 1921 when it all started. I truly think we shifted from a beauty competition to a competition that strives to find the most well-rounded, well-spoken, kind individual. But I'm not surprised that the Rule 7 was in place. I'm glad it's not. And if I'm being completely honest, we have so far to go in pageantry as far as representation goes. It shouldn't be a shock that someone with brown skin or someone with braids or someone with a diverse body type or a diverse background is competing. But it's always a surprise, it's always a shock, it's always the talk of the town. And my goal is to make that normal. Let's make diversity normalized in the pageant world, but that takes more women taking the step. And I hope, through people watching me and through people watching young girls to come, they feel confident enough to take the step to join something like the Miss America opportunity.
That's beautiful. One of the things, it gives me hope when I see folks from your generation. I come from a generation, a lot of stuff goes on, and if I talk to guys my age, that's just how it is. You guys, this generation, come along, hey, that's not fair.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. Let's change it.
So yeah, you're not accepting of it. And I sit back and I watch that type of stuff, and I love it. And I watch how you move, and I said, she probably wouldn't know if something was going on or not. You don't let it faze you. You navigate your waters. You let that light shine through.
And I mean, even on social media, I delete comments all the time. People are not always accepting and loving of who I am, and I don't expect them to be, and I don't ask them to be. But I do make sure to keep my social media a very positive space, so I delete things all the time. And I don't believe in thick skin, but I believe in the ability to realize that not all opinions matter. And that's also really helped me in the space that I occupy, because people give a lot of opinions, and sometimes they're not nice, and I just have to hit delete and say, well, I'm going to move on. So I encourage young women that take part in pageantry, no matter what system it is, to realize that all opinions are not the end-all be-all, and that you can delete things, that you can move on, that you can combat any negativity. You can combat those negative voices in your head.
Gotcha. That perseverance. You ran for Miss Indiana 3 times, I believe. Yeah, 11th, 3rd, and 1st.
Good yes.
You like that, don't you?
Yes, that's pretty good.
But I love that, But again, some people, I mean, that 11th, they would have been done, And that 3rd, okay, I did better. But to come back again, what about Miss America?
So Miss America is unique in the fact that you do it once. So until you win Miss Indiana, you can always come back and compete. But once you win Miss Indiana, you get that 1 year once, and you get to compete for Miss America once. So I was second runner-up, and that's going to forever be my position at Miss America. And it's a very good one. I mean, it's a very, very solid spot to have been standing there in the top 3 at Miss America, to have been 2 people away from holding that iconic title of Miss America. But I get to do it once, and I feel like I did it the best I could, and I have absolutely no regrets in that experience.
There you go. Awesome. And you know what? We know your track record. We know if you came back, you'd have won. That's that track record. So we get that, dude. We get that. Mm-hmm. Hey, but before we get out of here, mm-hmm. I want to know who was a hero to you? Mm-hmm. I mean, whether living or past, who's a hero for you?
So I'll never forget when I watched Michelle Obama's Becoming. And she traveled to these schools. And I never forget, she sat in a classroom full of African-American high school girls, and one girl started crying about her hair. And Michelle sat there and spoke very affirmative words into her spirit. And I cried throughout the whole documentary because I felt like Michelle was speaking to me. And this was in like 2020, I want to say, when I watched this. And that documentary changed me. It changed my outlook on who I am, and it changed my outlook on what I want to do into the world. So one of my public figure heroes is definitely Michelle Obama, but also to have a mom that raised 4 kids on her own, and all of us have come out successful. My mother's also a hero because she defied so many odds. So many societal standards were crushed by the way that she parented us and raised us. So that's like my tangible hero, but Michelle Obama is also like my public figure hero.
Yeah, all right, those are 2 great heroes. Mm-hmm. And then look, I'm gonna give you one more. If you could have dinner with 5 people, again, mm-hmm. whether they've passed, whether mm-hmm. it's a celebrity, give me your 5 people that you want to sit down and have dinner with.
Cynthia Erivo. You know that is, she played Harriet in the movie Harriet. Okay. But she also is an amazing singer. She will be playing Elphaba in the movie Wicked. And I just think she is and she was, what's the head lady in The Color Purple? The Color Purple.
Oprah Winfrey? Are you talking about the new one?
No, Silly.
Oh, Miss Silly.
Yeah, Miss Silly. She was Miss Silly on Broadway. Okay. So I just think Cynthia Erivo is very, very cool.
Very talented.
Obviously, Michelle Obama is at that table. Melissa McCarthy, she's just funny. So I feel like she could bring some humor to the table. My best friend is obsessed with her movies, so I now like her as well. That's 3. 4. You know what? Let's go with Halle Berry. Because I would really be interested to hear how she took the experiences that she had at Miss America and created amazingly wonderful opportunities out of it. And then Jennifer Hudson.
All righty.
Just 5 amazing women.
There you go. What a coincidence. All talented. All well-rounded.
A lot of them are singers, aren't they?
Yeah. Singers, entertainers, do it all. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, like
mm-hmm.
you said, from stage plays mm-hmm. to movies to singing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say that's what we're expecting from you.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to say I would not be surprised. How about that? Because you are a talented young lady, mm-hmm. well-spoken. Fort Wayne is proud to have you, mm-hmm. be able to call you our own. And again, let those doors open for you.
Let them open.
And the next time we see you, hey, I think we're gonna see you on the big screen.
Maybe.
All right. It has truly been a pleasure sitting down here talking to you, and I want to wish you well in whatever it is that you do. I know it's gonna turn to gold.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All righty. ONV, we're out with an awesome interview with a lovely young lady. We'll see you next time.